Hi, I'm Bob Herrera, Superintendent of Schools, and I would like to welcome you to Friday Spotlight. Today, we have a great panel with us. We have not only staff, but we have students joining us today to talk about some of the diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts going on in the district and bring everybody up to speed on what's going on. So I'm not going to wait any longer to introduce our great panel today. I would just like to turn it over to each of you. And Dr. Goodrum, if you'd go first, and then we can just follow along and introduce yourself and maybe tell us just a little bit about who you are.
Hello, I am Bobby Hayes Goodrum. I am the Assistant Superintendent for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for our wonderful school district. I'm very humbled and privileged to be in this position and so happy to be here on this panel with our students and our phenomenal leader, Ms. Sargent.
All right. Well, I am Valeda Sargent. I'm a restorative practices facilitator in the district, and I am also the advisor of our diversity and social justice club called Strike at Farmington High.
Hello, my name is Paris Lamb. I am a junior at Farmington High School, and I am class president of the junior class.
Hi, I'm Victoria Atwater. I'm a junior at Farmington along with Paris, and I've been involved in Strike for a few years now.
Hi, I'm Kylie Wilson. I am a sophomore at Farmington High School, and I am very happy to be here.
Well, great. Thank each of you for being here with us today. And I'm just going to jump right into the questions. I believe our first question is for Dr. Goodrum. What is diversity, equity, and inclusion?
So I'm going to try to be as brief as possible because I really want to make sure that we have enough time for our students to talk about their initiatives. So in a nutshell, diversity, equity, and inclusion is making sure that all of our policies, all of our practices, everything that we do within the school district is focused on making sure that every single one of our students has the same opportunity for success. We want to make sure that there are no identifying characteristics that are the predictors for success for our students. So we really want to, again, ensure that what we say and what we do are the same thing. We want to make sure that we are involving our community in every aspect of our decision making so that we can be inclusive and be representative of everyone. We want to, at the end of the day, equity is making sure that we are putting into every single one of our students what they need in order to be successful. And so at the school district level, I like to look at it through an equity taxonomy lens, which means I'm looking at physical access. Are all of our students feeling welcome in their environments? Do they see themselves in their environments? Are we looking at all of the social emotional needs of all of our students? Are we prohibiting them or preventing them in some way from having opportunities that all students have? Are our instructional practices culturally competent? Are they responsive to the needs of our students? And have all those things in place, then all of our students can be inspired and engaged learners.
Thank you. So what projects or activities are you planning for this year then to help move us in that direction?
So today we have with us some of the members of one of our diversity clubs within the district. But right now we've expanded diversity clubs so that every school in the district has a diversity club. And they are going to speak specifically today about what that looks like and some of the activities that they're doing. The district has also just begun a curriculum equity audit, which is really going to make sure that we are doing everything we possibly can to provide equitable outcomes for all of our students. We are going to continue to have our diversity conference, which we've had for many years, although we don't know right now. We would love to have it in person, but we are just not sure what that is going to look like this year at this time. And we just found out about a new opportunity that we are going to take part in, the Minority Student Achievement Network, MSAN, is having what they call the Intersectional Social Justice Collaborative for middle and high school students. So that's something that is new for them this year, is to include middle school students, but we're super excited to extend that opportunity to middle school students. And as usual, many members of our staff this year are going through some equity training. So we have a lot of things planned this year. This year is atypical, as everyone knows, but the work doesn't stop. And just really want to emphasize to everybody that diversity work is hard work and it's slow work, but we will get there.
Thank you. Good response. Appreciate that information. Give everybody a good understanding of what they can anticipate coming about this year. So strike. This one's for the students. Tell me about strike and what do the letters represent?
So the letters of strike represent students that rise to increase knowledge for everyone. I would say strike is about making an opportunity for everyone at Farmington to make it more inclusive and diverse.
Great. So what are the goals for the group this year then?
Well, I can start off and tell a little bit about the goals. We really just want to open up space where kids can use their voices and feel empowered. That's one of our main goals.
And another important goal we have for strike is to create a more inclusive and socially just Farmington community.
Great. So what are some of the things you do in strike? What are share some activities that you engaged with that will think?
So as of right now, we meet twice a month in like a Google Meet or Zoom call just to discuss how we can make Farmington a better place. Last year, we sponsored, or was it last year? One of the years, we sponsored an event called Cookies and Flow, which highlighted authors of color and poetry. And oftentimes we don't get to hear a more diverse poetic audience. And then we read the Just Mercy for the book and movie study. And the year before that, it was Hate You Give. And then lastly, we are, as you probably know, we're doing the Mental Health Awareness Day, November 18th.
Okay. So are there any more upcoming events or activities we may see coming through the group?
Sorry, go ahead.
So
Sorry.
It's okay. So like Victoria mentioned, we are very excited for our yearly Mental Health Awareness Month or day, and it's going to be on November 18th. On this day, we will have a guest speaker. Her name is Dr. Polly Gibson, and she's from U of M. And she's going to talk about the stigma around mental health, mental challenges, and ways of coping with mental health and challenges. When I was a freshman, we had this event, and it was so amazing, so eye-opening, because usually in school, when you come to school, you do your work and you go home, or if you have extracurricular activities, you go there. But you never really usually take time for your mental health. And what Dr. Polly Gibson is going to talk about is how important it is to take time for your mental health, because in order to be successful, you need that grounding for your mental health. And we were planning to have it my sophomore year, but due to COVID-19, we were not able to continue that event. But we are definitely going to be back this year for this event, and we definitely understand the importance this event will hold this year.
Great. That sounds like a great event. So one question, maybe not going to surprise you guys off maybe the rehearsed questions that we may have talked about earlier, but so how did the three of you find your way onto strike and taking these roles to help promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in our schools? Paris, maybe you could share with how you got involved in the group.
Okay, so are you talking about specifically for high school or my beginnings in diversity?
Whenever you joined the group, or however you got involved, and to what level, whatever you feel comfortable sharing with us.
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning, very quick. So in 7th grade, actually, I attended East Middle School, And I have always been interested in DEI work and including diversity everywhere I go. But Miss Marion, who's a restorative practice facilitator at East Middle School, she came up to me and she asked me if I would be willing to be a part of the diversity club and committee that they had at East. Because I've always had a passion for diversity work, I immediately said yes. And I worked with Miss Marion until 8th grade, where I left. And then when I started Farmington my freshman year, Miss Sargent came up to me and asked me if I would be willing to be involved with the diversity, community at Farmington. And again, I automatically said yes. And since then, I've just been working to, again, make a more inclusive community for Farmington and Farmington High School. And I plan to continue working in diversity work.
Great. Victoria, how about yourself? How did you?
Yeah, mine is kind of similar to Paris. I grew up in a predominantly white, just neighborhood school, so I didn't really think about diversity. It just wasn't something that it crossed my mind. But in 7th or 8th grade at Howard, there was a incident that happened, and many African Americans were offended by that. And I guess that's when I started really realizing that it's not something that happened, in the 60s, it's still relevant. And then when I came to Farmington, I just wanted to focus on high school, so I didn't do anything then. But my sophomore year, I got involved with Strike and did some student panels for the elementary students, and then again for the middle school students or teachers, sorry. And then that led me to MSAN, which I did last year.
Okay, great. Hey, Kylie, tell us a little bit about you.
I first became involved in DEI work when I came to FPS in 2018. I think coming from a more white-based school before with a lack of people of color, it was interesting to see the student diversity at East. So when my friends told me about the diversity group they were in, I was interested to see what they had for the school and what they offered. So I joined the club and became more aware and involved of the lack of inclusion and started wondering what I could do to change that. So then I carried that to the high school and joined Strike.
Great. So you guys reflect on the work you've done, some of you since middle school and some of you more recently. What are some of the notable accomplishments you think, or what areas you think we've made a difference? And maybe tell us a little bit about what you'd like to see continue to happen in the district.
I start if no one else is going to. I think Farmington is really working hard towards being inclusive, one with the addition of Dr. Goodman. But I do think there are some things that need to be changed. I know Dr. Goodman mentioned the curriculum, and that's one of my big things is the history portion of the FPS curriculum is incredibly biased, and it creates biased students. So I think that's something that definitely needs to be changed, as well as just increase in staff of color. And one thing I really need Farmington to do is to take accountability for its actions rather than kind of ignoring them or covering them with a blanket statement.
I would like to add on as well. I do think that Farmington and FPS has done a great job of opening their ears to student voices. I know this summer, with the events that were happening in the world with like the Black Lives Matter movement and politics in the election, we had a student gathering in Farmington, and I think Dr. Herrera, you were there. And we were able to speak out on things that we felt needed to be done in Farmington and things that Farmington was doing good.
I would also like to thank our students for being here today and sharing. But I think we are coming to a close for today's conversation. Again, thank everybody for your time today and helping me share this information and communicate this out to our school community. And before we know it, it'll be spring, and we'll hope to get you back and do some follow-up conversation on this and see what accomplishments you've made this year. So again, thank you for your time, and I would like to thank all of our listeners for joining with us today, and enjoy your weekend. Thanks.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.